So
No,
I
definitely.
think in the same perspective,
right.
What? I thought it was a fart. No, I thought it was a fart. It came from back there.
I thought someone kicked a cat. Like,
Dude, I was looking at Ross and I was trying so hard to say this, but I lost it, dude.
Oh man. So, next question. I think this is really good. A really interesting question. How important is it for your friends and family to like the person that you're with?
Wow, that's a really good
So
question.
how important
Wow.
is it for them to think they're attractive, to think that they're right for you? How important is it? Let's go first.
Enthusiastic about
Okay,
this.
let's go.
Yeah.
Because it's happened to me, and not just once but twice. My parents are extraordinarily conservative, traditional, Catholic.
Oh, okay.
And so they have those values built inside them and stuff, and that's kind of how they live their life. And no disrespect to it at all, you know what I mean? If that's you and that's what you want to do, great. But traditionally, the girls that I'm with, it's not that they're, just blatantly violating those things, but they're just maybe little things like, for instance, I had a girlfriend that I lived with for a while, and my parents were, you're gonna be married. That's when you're gonna live with somebody. That's when you're gonna stay with somebody. That kind of deal. And it's no disrespect to my parents, but as far as that is, like, I feel like as much as my family is important to me, as much as my friends are important to me, you can take their advice and you can be like, hey, I don't think he's right for you, that blah, blah, and it's, if they know you, then obviously it's something you should listen to. But at the same time, for me, it's important, but it's definitely not something that should make or break you. If it's someone that you want to be with, and if it's someone, as cliche as it sounds, but the whole world could be against you, But if it's something that you want to pursue, only you know what makes you happy. Because I've fallen for girls that, I had my ideal picture perfect girl in my head, and the Disney movies told me that I should fall for the princess, right? But as much as those white lies kind of, and American society tells you this is what your perfect girl is supposed to be, I always end up falling for a girl who was totally different from that. Very not, as we were talking about before, billboard beauty, or not, just very unique, very different, maybe a little rough around the edges, maybe even tomboyish, whatever it may be, but it ended up making me so much happier. And some people think that's not the right girl for you, or I've had friends who told me, I don't think that's gonna work, but it did, and I was happy whether it lasted or didn't. And I think you have to make that choice for yourself and just stick by it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
That's a really good answer.
That's a really good answer.
Well,
I'll have to say, I definitely agree with that. To me, the main thing out of all, of course, your friends, your best friend's opinion, and your family's opinion. You definitely have to weigh that in. One thing that according to what Mike said is, our parents lived in a different time than we did.
Yeah.
And in our cases, different countries, different customs. So they may not be accustomed to what we see here and how we deal with our lives on a daily basis. So, that being said, we have to listen to them, but at the end of the day, if that person is making us happy and it's not, deteriorating ourselves, it's not our goals or, achieving, making us be the best that we can be, we should listen to them. Yes, I will take more into consideration to, my best friend Alex, sometimes will tell me, because he never really led me astray or, or set me in a wrong, down a wrong path. But, so I'll definitely listen to him. My parents, obviously, I'll listen to them too when it comes to relationship, but then again, they haven't lived like we live our lives nowadays.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So, I'll listen to them, but at the end of the day, it's like, if that person makes you happy and you're making that other person happy, and you guys are not, as cliche as it sounds too, if you guys are not like, destroying yourselves and, flicking off the world, I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're flicking off the world doing it. You know what I just thought about, right? Like...
The gold.
Like, as long as you're not, like, bringing each other down in some sense, and you guys are, and we're happy, I don't think everybody else's opinion count much. Unless it's something constructive or something that you can work on, then by all means, yeah. But if it's like, a very, communist way of being like, or
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
authoritarian. No, you can't be with that girl. That's nothing to do with you. Well, what do you know? You know, like exactly.
All right, Ross.
No, in the same perspective, she's also can't be pushing you away from your family. So she can't be like,
Absolutely.
they can't completely clash. I mean, if they're clashing, there's something, you want to make sure that you're with a girl that's not clashing with your family. If she's
Absolutely.
if she's constantly like, oh, well, your brother sucks. Your brother's,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
dick. You shouldn't be around him, that kind of thing. If she's pulling you away from your family, I think there's some kind of conflict there. I don't think that's. And,
No, agreed.
Yeah.
I think if a girl doesn't love your family, she doesn't truly love you.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
I
Because
always
I think
try,
it's like
yeah.
a whole
Try,
package.
try
I
to
mean,
love.
it's like a whole package. You and your family. I mean, you're
Yeah.
with your family. You're not gonna
Right, right.
completely forget your
What
family.
you are, your family is what you are. You came
Exactly,
from them,
that's
you
where
know,
you
so-
come
Absolutely.
I have to agree with that. It's a really interesting question because I've had this conversation with my family, and like I wish I could bring her here, but like my sister, we had the conversation where my sister said that like if the family didn't, like if she met someone, the family like we didn't really accept him for whatever reason, she doesn't think she would continue to be with him because she wouldn't want that to lead, like she didn't want to invest in it, and then eventually would lead to either her distancing herself from her family or leading to a bigger breakup than what it should be. I could agree with that. However, I feel like it's really hard. It's really hard to answer. My parents, my grandma didn't want to be with us, my dad was black, and that was the only reason. My grandma was like, "No, he's black. You're gonna get AIDS." And oh, really? That's okay. It was like your kids aren't gonna get jobs, like the most racist stuff you ever heard. Yeah,
Wow.
And that's how that was something like that. I don't think like if it's like
Yeah,
I wouldn't go for
that's
that.
not,
If it's
I don't think that's an issue with our parents.
With our
But then
parents,
again, but you guys, do you guys see how his grandmother was? I think that's very too. I mean, on the time and the era that they were brought up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I
Culturally wise, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, as sad as this may seem, back in the days, like nobody, you didn't want to be seen hanging around with a black person, or you didn't want to, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and that's obviously this is as racist as it sounds, we're in the 21st century now. And we, times have changed and people have changed. So I think that if your family is not able to, adapt to, certain things, to in certain ways, of course they may not want to, they may not want to be able to adapt to it, but they just have to, keep their opinions to themselves about it. Given, we live in a society now where, a lot more things are are acceptable than what it was back in their day.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for them to transition into that,
Well, bringing up your point and then what you said about reasoning. Okay, so let's just say hypothetical situation, you fall in love with, and I know this is how it sound, a stripper, right? And so your family has objections against this because of what a profession is.
Right.
Okay, so do you feel like that's a reason to say, no, well, I know what you see, how you feel about what she does, but at the same time, let's just to say that you're okay.
so
with-
that scenario.
Yeah.
It's hard to say until I'm in that situation. I would say, knowing myself, I would, if it was something like that, where like she's a stripper, it's her profession, that's what she does, something like that. I would say I couldn't be with a girl that's like that.
Yeah, I'm saying, let's assume
But
you could.
let's assume I could in a hypothetical situation, something like that. I don't think it would keep me from being with her. I think I would stay with her because until she does, regardless of what she does for like a living, until she's doing something like to me to where like she's wronging me,
Yeah.
I don't feel my family should hate her. And I would actually try to talk to my family like, listen, regardless of what she does, we're together. She hasn't cheated as far as I know. You know what I mean? Like I would tell them like she's not doing. If I'm happy and like she's treating me the way I should be treated, I'm treating her the way she should. There shouldn't be a reason that I would just tell them to get over it. Because honestly, I would just tell them.
Because it is a job like any other. She's not
Exactly.
cheating, necessarily
Well,
cheating.
not like any other.
Not like any other. It's a job like any other. It's a 9 to
She's not
5.
making out with other guys or anything. I wouldn't think that she would.
Yeah. I see. And like I said, I couldn't be with a stripper. That's another question. I
Yeah.
guess. That's another.
I mean, yeah.
Could
Can you
you
be with a
be with a stripper? No.
stripper.
Next up, you panel.
Right?
Can we be What a shiver. Answer is yes, no, no, yes, no.
I do have to say though, if you are gonna take advice from somebody, I feel like it should be from your friends over your family. Not that you shouldn't listen to your family, because I feel like your friends know you in a different way than your family does.
Yes.
And that your parents, you know how people say you have relationship goggles? I think your parents have parents goggles.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah,
so
they
they're
want the best for you.
Yeah, they want
they
the
think
best
they
for
want
you,
the-
and so
They think they know what the best.
your best friend will give you a more objective answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What knowing that he or she knows you very well. However, your parents are just going to be like trying to keep you safe and trying to, oh, they have to make good money, you have to have good stable income, and you have to have a good stable life, and blah blah, this and that. So factors that your best friend would be able to see past your parents would just, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not when it just comes to when it just comes to that. I mean, Alex has brought some things up to my attention that I definitely agree with him, but I just wasn't seeing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, I've painted the bigger picture for him, towards certain scenarios, and he's painted the bigger picture for me.
Yeah.
Where I was like, wow, dude, you're right. Like, how did I not think about that? So it just helps out. Like in general, I think you're like your best friend. Not only are you guys more in sync within like the age, within that the age that we are, the times that we live in, but they can give you a more of a blunt a blunt perspective on most of the things that we happen to deal with. So I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. And just go back to what you said. I think a best your friend would probably give a more objective opinion. I think that's more important because, like I said, the family. It could be even the opposite, where a family, oh, we like this girl, but they don't really see what's truly going on. Your friend could be like, hey, listen, I know you're with her, but she's
This
blank, 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 blank.
Right.
And then it's, you know what, you're right, and then you see it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it can go both ways, and yeah, I think it's very important. So yeah, cool. Ross, anything to add?
No.
No? All right. Cool. So that's it for relationship questions.
All right.
Tell me some fun stuff.
All right.